Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
We're just a couple of kooky, crazy kids in love that love reacting to some Castlevania.
Yes, we do.
And so this is season 2, episode 2. If you want all of our reactions to the series, we have a playlist down below, description of this video. You also find a link to Patreon. You can get early ad-free access. You can get full watch-along reactions. We're even farther ahead on our full watch-along reactions. We're about a month ahead on our YouTube edit reactions on Patreon, but you can get even farther ahead if you want to. Are you ready to check this out?
I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, nice. Let me do the big intro for the first episode.
No, you don't.
I do. I'm nice to everybody.
Then why are most of these stories you've told me in the last few days about you arriving somewhere and then getting punched in the face?
Because everyone else is a horrible piece of shit.
Facts.
So, how do we proceed?
Have the speakers left. In success, you will see them again soon in far happier circumstances.
See? He knows how to be nice. Is it true, then? The castle can travel somehow.
Tell her about Dracula's castle, Alucard. Her day can't get any more ruined.
It travels without moving. It appears at locations as if...
How do we start?
I want to go home.
No more booze.
Some chance. But no, I want to go home.
Villagers, pitchforks and torches, that sort of thing.
It was what was underneath it.
Booze.
I'm told.
The collected knowledge and material of generations of Belmonts who fought the creatures of the night.
Knowledge is power.
If it survives.
If there are solutions. I am guessing. I can't read or understand magic, but my family stored everything they found. I just can't do anything with it. But you two can. And that I decided against gutting you, flaying you, and turning you into shoes.
Ha!
Such a merry band we are. I will find us a covered wagon and horses if you two can manage not to kill each other while I'm gone.
Oh, who does she remind me of?
We're not children.
Sam Seaborn's girlfriend, Leo Bagheeri's daughter in West Wing.
Yes, that is very much the look.
Do you really believe we could find the tools to kill my father at your old home?
I'll be honest with you. I just know that right here, right now, we are under-equipped for the job.
I'm trusting you, Belmont.
I mean, that's a throne, that's a chair.
No, no, no! Dracula will decide, not you, if I don't kill you first.
You do not question my loyalty.
Enough!
I told you all that Hector and...
I said, cease!
Ooh. She makes an entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Brother.
I am Carmilla. I am come from far Styria to join the war council.
That some time ago, Carmilla...
It's so sad.
Indeed. But your mighty castle keep moves around. What use could you have possibly had for a mere regional ruler? Your forces were repelled from a single city-state. Your generals are in disarray.
And what insights have you, Carmilla?
Why was this new wife of yours never turned?
What did you say?
You married? Were you simply keeping a human pet? And if so...
I will speak with you alone. Attend me.
I'm surprised he didn't just kill you.
Yes? You wished to speak to me, my lord.
That was a dramatic entrance, Carmilla.
It was intended to unsettle a room full of men. I prefer in such situations to arrive with as many advantages as possible. Your current location was also advantageous. I suspect he still wants to sleep with me.
And will you? I prefer to know my general's ties and compromises.
If all the other vampire males in the world drop dead, and half the females, some of the animal.
Some of the animals. Nice.
Speaking of impertinence, you just denounced the choice not to turn my dead wife in front of all my generals.
It's a question they have all been asking themselves. I gave you an opportunity to address.
Then why have you only just arrived? You were summoned some time ago. Surely
Villagers, pitchforks, torches, the usual.
I'm sure they would enjoy your help.
As you wish, my lord.
I think she's the one that gave up Dracula's wife.
I'm still not completely clear on why you don't catch fire in the daylight.
And she was mortal.
I would very much like to hear the story of how that...
She found the castle and banged on the front door with the pommel of her knife.
She sounds interesting.
And then demanded he teach her how to be a doctor.
Wait, Dracula taught a human woman how to be a doctor.
God, you still think you're funny.
Dracula
Is a man of science, a philosopher,
Keeps reminding Dracula.
and knows things our society have forgotten 3 times over. He's gone mad. And from that, there is no recovering him. He could have changed the world. I think he might have, if Mother hadn't died.
She sent him away.
She sent him to travel.
She was turning him.
Imagine if he could have aimed all that knowledge at improving life.
And now he's going to use her death as an excuse to destroy the world.
Birds will still sing, animals will still hump away in the undergrowth. None of you. The sun will still set, but you will not see it rise. He used the covers himself from oak and wraps them in the preserved skin of the people who he hated most. Ideas for darkening clouds and making them as permanent in the air as the frost of the north. A world without humans, under endless invented night. His revenge so horribly complete that there is nothing left to do but look out over a world without art or memory or laughter.
Did you hear that?
Animals humming in the undergrowth.
Which is the nearest town? Is it still Gratian?
Argesh is closer to us.
Ooh.
What the hell is that?
It's like werewolves. She's like you. If you put her up, she thinks she's safe. It's a big ass sword.
What are they like? Raptors? The way they ran was
Yeah.
like raptors.
Something else like a bat shape with the wings and everything.
Yep.
That thing looks like something out of Warhammer. Oh, nice.
He just surfed a tree.
You did. Oh shit.
Okay, they're gargoyles that spit fire.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Have it back. Oh, but that thing eats him. Yeah, she's got skills. She's been blown up inside of him?
Oh, that was cool.
Awesome.
Those are some skills. Messy. But skills.
Mm-hmm. Kill it, kill it. Don't let it report.
Nobody's going to Argesh tonight.
Oh.
Okay, now I get this guy's backstory. Oh, he hates humanity.
Thieving little shit.
Jesus, dude.
Feel anything? I'm trying to learn. I found you dying on the street quietly and watch my back, not go behind my back and fuck around.
I'm sorry.
What did you think you were gonna learn? You actually wanted to learn so you could help me do my work.
Because,
It's not a piece of shit like you.
please, don't be angry with me anymore.
Just tell me, Isaac. It's all right.
Because I love you.
Oh, bless your heart. Even after everything in your life, you're still a sweet boy who believes in love.
It wasn't until you came along.
I just wanted to help.
That's why I do this. This is how I love you. You stop fucking around.
Oh. Oh, I do not blame you at all.
Nope.
No such thing as love in this world.
From a party sent to Argesh.
Argesh is some distance. He must have flown all night. Discipline. Peace. Choosing my own action.
Come on, wake up. We have a horror right here for you.
Imagine, so horribly injured.
And crapping out a minute before it managed it. Useless fucking thing.
All loyalty buys. In a world without love and death on your master's floor. You came home regardless. Dracula will bring a pure world into being. I want of all things a pure world where there is only loyalty and only love.
But Dracula's doing all this because he doesn't feel love anymore.
You're so alone.
We have to accept that we've lost the party sent to Argesh.
Argesh has no real importance. You should have counseled an attack on Brayla. You would have seen that taking the biggest riverport town in the region was important.
Any city built over running water is a place that we...
Running water? I've never heard of that affecting vampires.
Why not?
Look around. We moved into the middle of countries.
I'd been told that vampires couldn't cross running water.
I've been on boat.
Who is that guy? His voice is so familiar.
Baths aren't running water, though, are they?
Of course they are.
How can baths be running water?
The Greeks used to bury us on small islands.
Who he sounds like?
Surrounded by running water.
He sounds like T'Challa.
Probably feel like running water would kill me.
Really?
I don't think it is that actor, but it sounds like him.
Of course you don't. It's a thing you learn. It's not like we're given a manual for being a vampire.
Enough!
No, we're talking about a different person.
Do you really think that's enough?
I was talking about the vampire. Dickhead vampire.
Oh, okay.
This world. I do not see how securing Brayla over Argesh gives us power.
I must respectfully disagree with my fellow Forge Master. Taking Brayla seals off one side of Wallachia.
I must disclose that I revived the creature that returned. But Argesh is close to Greshit. And that there was recently a Belmont there.
A Belmont? I thought they were extinct.
No.
If there is a Belmont left alive, then should we not observe the ancestral Belmont home? Perhaps on the general notion that the Belmonts hunted the likes of us for fucking centuries. They used to hunt us through fucking centuries.
She's smart.
Myself clear now. This is your war council, my lord?
Oh, she's a good character.
Yeah, that final look was a good one.
I still think that I think she was the one that gave up Dracula's wife.
The female vampire.
Yeah. That came in there with, like, you know, it's got some sass and has her hand on her hips all the time. Like, she's a very fascinating character because, like, they introduced, like, they talked about she and, okay, what the character wasn't maybe not introduced yet before, but we met her then right after that in the next episode. And when she brought up the fact of, like, why didn't you turn your wife? I was like, oh, that's probably one of the reasons she gave her up. And I think she probably wants to see power.
I said she'd be younger and jealous.
You did say she would be younger and jealous. So that's where my head's going at. It was fun seeing Alucard and Belmont and Sypha just kind of kick ass all together.
Yeah.
That was satisfying.
Yeah, I love the fight scene in this. I love the introduction of more creatures and like the different forms they can take. I liked Sypha hearing the story of Alucard's mom and sort of getting a little more of him, because we obviously know, and it's fun to hear more from Alucard and get even more of the story, but even the stuff that we do already know, it is fun to hear other characters learn it for the first time and how they digest it and respond to it. And so I loved Sifa's response of like, your mom sounds like an incredible woman. I mean, just she, it speaks very well of her character that she had the humanity to see it, versus people of this time that we've largely seen are very prone to prejudice and sort of fanatical ideas, and aren't necessarily the best examples of humanity from what we've seen depicted so far. And Belmont was just sort of jaunty about the whole thing, and just sort of, yeah, okay. Like he was not so impressed by the incredible love story. I think you've got a good theory going with the female vampire. So this is going to be a bad reference, and I'm sure some people out there are going to like super roll their eyes at this. But the whole idea of keeping, the whole idea of keeping a human pet, it came up in Twilight too. It's that thing that keeps coming up in like human vampire love stories, is the fact that like, to turn the human or not to turn the human. And sort of like a lot of that decision hinges on the vampire and their own view of what it means to be a vampire. So like in Twilight, they made it all emo and self-loathing and whatnot. I dragged him to see Twilight in theaters. He saw it in theaters. I just outed you. But like in that, they made it very teen angsty and like and super emo and kind of like play me a tiny violin. It's so woeful to have to be a vampire. I'm not sure that that's where Dracula falls on it. I don't think that he necessarily hates himself or his kind.
No, he doesn't.
So it would be very curious to see what drove that decision. Because even Sifa says at one point, like she was turning him or bringing him around, or like, she makes a comment about that. And it does kind of seem that way, that like Lisa was pleading the case for humanity so much so that it seems like Dracula didn't consider changing her from what she was, because she was making the case for what a good thing it was to be human.
Yeah.
And I think that is a far more interesting kind of philosophical interpretation of that question as to whether or not the human should be turned, what the vampire's responsibility with that is, and their relationship to their own, this could sound bizarre, but vampirism. And the perception that to not turn the human somehow makes them a pet, like having a puppy dog or something. Like they're somehow less than, they're not an equal. And I think Lisa was doing the incredible thing of showing Dracula that humans actually could be different and yet equally as interesting and fascinating and with as much right to be on the planet as vampires. I mean, they might not have the same powers, but they had sort of a magic unto themselves.
I also love the fact that Alucard was bringing it up that Dracula could have saved humanity and like furthered so much more of science and whatnot. He said if the Inquisition didn't confirm his like basically like worst fears or belief in what he thought humanity was, like that's like two sides of the same coin, right? Like in the one side you have people like his wife, which are trying to better humanity and further humanity and trying to help people. And the other side of that, you have people saying like, yeah, but like why? Because like people are such like are shit. Like people are so shitty and they're cruel and they're hateful and they do horrible things. And if that's what you're looking for, if that's what you believe, you will find evidence of that. It will be proven correct that people are shitty and they do awful things and they're horrible.
Bias confirmation.
Yeah, but like the people that are so great, in the world and do such great things are the ones that, they know that, but they also know that the majority of people are not like that. And that while that hatred and that vileness still exists, humanity is still worth saving, and it is still worth like bettering because of all the good as well, because of love. Basically, is what this also talks about. I mean, this one guy is ready to kill all humanity because he thinks there's an absence of love. Dracula wants to kill all humanity because of his absence of love. Belmont wants to, go on his little suicide mission because of the absence of love. And same thing with Alucard. Like, I mean, so all this thing is just like hatred taking over that void of love. And it brings up a great discussion as they do this, but it's not very like hit you over the head with it as well. Like they bring it up in such subtle ways, but not like way too subtle where you need like, I don't know, 3-hour YouTube video to like understand what's going on at the same time. I love that they take their time with this.
Yeah.
When the lady vampire, I forgot her name, enters the room, like Dracula's like, oh, like she calls out Dracula about not turning his wife. She's like, okay, come see me. Like, I need to speak to you alone. Dracula's just sitting there in his chair. She enters, and all you hear is like her footsteps. She walks, still doesn't say anything. She walks some more, and she like gets in front of him. Like he makes sure that she's the first one to speak in that scene. And it's like taking the time with that, I thought was beautiful, and like not rushing into it and having her like walk in and Dracula like yelling at her right away, and the scene just erupting. It was just no. We're gonna take our time with all of this. It's very nuanced.
It also shows you how powerful Dracula is. Like that's one thing that you see in great entertainment is like there's sort of that perception that to be powerful in a scene you have to be loud and take up space and all that stuff. But like no, so often in a great scene, the true power resides in the person who's saying so little, but everybody shuts the fuck up to hear him talk when they do.
Yep.
And that's sort of Dracula. Like he can just sit there and be still and know that his very presence and what just occurred in the drawing room will provide enough tension that eventually the other person will be forced to make a move or to say something.
Yeah.
And that just speaks to his power and that he has the patience to wait it out. Going back to what you were saying about confirmation bias, it was one thing, and this is something that Ken and I did during the pandemic, but like it can sometimes be really hard to find those examples of good humanity. Because you turn on the news and it's taking the worst stories that are out there. It's showing you the worst of humanity all the time because that's what makes headlines. You look at online articles and social media and it's all clickbait, which says like the worst thing to make you be like, oh my God, that's terrible. I have to read the rest. And the pandemic was kind of a dark time and none of us really knew what was going on at first, especially. So finding things like, some good news that John Krasinski started, we were watching on a regular basis, following different social media sites like the Happy Broadcast is one that I always go to. And there's probably like a handful of them that I follow and you can definitely find them out there. There are many now. But it helps that sort of like mental diet that, yeah, there's a lot of shit going on in the world. And trust me, it's shit a lot of the time. But and I'm going to age myself here, but Mr. Rogers talks about a time where I think it was his mother who said like something bad had happened. And she said, look for the helpers. She's like, if you look for the helpers, you will always find the helpers. And so I think, in those moments when it is scary or uncertain, or it feels like the world is shit, finding ways that you can serve your own mental diet by showing yourself where the helpers are. And it's one of the things I love about the Happy Broadcast is because they talk about preserving animals and conservation and whatnot, but they talk about like the experiments that are being done in science to have worms that eat plastic to get rid of our landfills to save our planet. To like, so like it's not just something small, it's also really big. Like the gamut of positive humanity is there and it's full. It's just you have to look for it and make sure that you're exposing yourself to it so that you can get that benefit of like, I don't want to start believing humanity is shit. So I need to see evidence of humanity being really good. And there's plenty of it out there. It's just we don't get the exposure to it that we should.
Yeah. I mean, and like obviously they're taking it to the extreme. I mean, we're not battling like vampires in our world.
And that's what you think. Who knows?
Yeah, there's Cheka's not out there trying to destroy all of humanity and whatnot. But I mean, we do all like, I think have those moments where you feel like you only need to look out for like, oh, I'm just gonna look out for myself and my loved ones, like, because like screw everyone else. I mean, because there's just because you kind of lose faith in people. And so I think this is kind of shows so far what I've seen is that this show is about like, not losing faith in people and not like, like I said, living for love instead of living for hate. I'm really enjoying the show. I like the pacing of it. I like the characters. I mean, there's good action in it. Yes, obviously. But that's not what it's all about. And yeah, just can't wait for more.
I also found it fascinating the background on the two. No, they're not the generals. The generals are the vampires.
Yeah, like Victor and Hector or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I forgot what he calls them.
Yeah.
He calls them something specific.
But, I mean, what interesting backstories. I mean, because you have to think, like, who are the two people who are like, yes, let's destroy humanity. Yep. Let's make people extinct. I will help you. I will root them out. I will make it I mean, like, that in of itself yields to a fascinating... I know. He wants belly rubs now. Yields the, wait, what the hell happened to you question. And then to find out what did happen to them. And we don't know the full story in either end, but we certainly know more about who's the second one?
I think that's Victor.
We actually saw some of his and just that action sequence of getting the whip. And I mean, it was so quick, but like, again, that was a really good action sequence. And I like that we saw his visually, and then the other guys, we just heard some of the terrible things that I believe it was his mother was saying to him. And that's like, I mean, even the best of parents screw you up. So when you've got a terrible parent, like, their ability to screw you up is pretty freaking big.
Yep. Let us know what you thought about this down below in the comments. And if you want early ad-free access to our Castlevania reactions, check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there, and you can also get our full watch-along reactions that way as well. Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for season 2, episode 2 of Castlevania, which keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.